know nothing about. Open the doorway to a world we know nothing about.
I am here representing not only myself, but my parents, all the people who raised me to believe in myself, to believe in my dreams.
Are you experienced?
San Francisco X Games version 5.0. It's a world party on the peninsula that unleashed the summer of love. Historic streets,
Ready to go, Richter.
where there is the thrill of victory without the agony of defeat. Over 300 athletes
25 nations.
from the Pacific Rim
To the Polar North.
La Vida Globa,
Es ist ein Weltfest.
A world we know nothing about.
born among the Alps.
Vivian Wegrad, Zürich.
She body paints the sky. In the deserts of California, he's gone where no rider has gone before.
Mike Metzger, Quail Valley, California.
Open the doorway to a world we know nothing about.
Skateboarding has never been a crime.
Tony Hawk, San Diego, USA. A world of passion that knows no boundaries.
But speeding, guilty as charged.
Sean Mallard, Fullerton, California.
Rolling is the obsession.
Matt Salerno, Sydney, Australia.
A world of freedoms.
Vert is Carnival.
Carnival. Ist ein Fest. Fabiola, Sao Paulo, Brazil.
To a world we know nothing about.
The celebration, infectious.
Ben Hinckley, Lincoln, Nebraska.
A world where anyone can make it. A world that just takes
Commitment.
Dave Mira, Syracuse, New York.
Enough said. X is more than sport. It's a way to abuse gravity's confinements. To tap eternal flow. The expressionists of sports have arrived.
Look to the future.
Oh yes, it's that time again, and tonight on the X Games, it's the inliners who are defying the laws of gravity down at the pier in San Francisco. Over the next hour, we've got the street final for the men, the women's vert, and the vert triples. The street final featuring, of course, Matt Salerno from Australia, but he's up against this guy, Nicky Adams from Canada. And boy, can he skate. That tented area is called the X Zone. There are bands playing in there all the time, but Salerno hasn't got too much time to listen to the music. He's got to go out there and make his skates do the singing and dancing here in the street final. 2 runs, 10 skaters involved, 65 seconds per run. The best score wins, and they're judged on a 100-point scale. That's the course. It's the same course used for the BMX street competition and the skateboarders. And you need a map to get through this course, but Nicky Adams is one of the few who knows exactly where he's going.
I'm gonna do a quadruple backflip from there to there. No, just kidding.
Right, first of all, I start off in the starter box. I hit this the ramp. I'm gonna start with a flat spin, 360, come up here, fakie 720 bio, land on the deck.
I just drop in and I do a 540, natural 540 over the rail, and then I'll hit the box, switch 540, and then I'll just gun it into this corner and just pump out of it.
Lunge, Brooks. Keep the same line, but add more technical tricks to it.
Do a couple of grind variations in here, you know, and then another grind on the box here.
Yes, sir.
So is Nicky Adams up first, the 15-year-old rising star from Montreal, originally from Barbados, and part of the Salomon skate team. His first run underway here in the street course X Games inline final. Nicky Adams off to a cracking start. Look at the speed with which he covers this ramp. Whoa, big 720. So Nicky Adams spinning and jumping and leaping his way and putting in the grinds, the technical tricks that the panel of 5 judges will be looking for. Adams, the big shock of the inline season leading up to the X Games, he's come on in leaps and bounds. Oh, an over the handrail. Perfection. Pops off the box. Now, is he going to hit the middle and the rhythm section in the middle of the course? No, he's avoided that. There's the buzzer. What a run. That was near faultless from 15-year-old Nicky Adams out of Montreal, Canada. This was how he started. 720, grabbed 720. Kicking out Lou Can on the 450 transfer there. So many grinds, and he was one of the only skaters so far to get up on the chunk, this big lump of concrete set up on one of the obstacles on the course. And no big surprise, Adams leads with 75.25. And would you believe that Blake Dennis, who's the next man on of the 10, is afraid of heights? It is hard to believe, bearing in mind what he does. And when you see him fly, you'll think that that is completely ridiculous. This man is scared of heights, but no sign of that here as he leaps and bounds all over this course. What a start from Blake Dennis. 16-year-old from Sydney, Australia. Chasing a score set by Nicky Adams of 75.25, and nice grinds coming in early on from Blake Dennis. Turns around for the next assault. Yeah, down the handrail. That was beautiful. Oh, good stuff from Blake Dennis of Australia. This is one of the few sports in the X Games, really, where the Americans don't dominate from start to finish. There are Australians and Canadians mixing up with the Americans. They do not have it all their own way in this particular discipline. Dennis missed the chunk. Nicky Adams was much more solid on that bit. He's still got energy to burn. There's the 65-second buzzer. Dennis slides off down the rail. He'll still get counted and scored for that. Pretty loose rules in terms of timing in the X Games, as it should be. This was him coming up over the handrail. 9 lip tricks he pulled in this run, some of them very unorthodox. The difference between this guy and so many of the other skaters is that he rotates in and out of his grinds, which most of them don't. He leads 76.25. Dennis has pole position. Aaron Feinberg next to go. That's Matt Salerno working out his line. We'll see him in a moment, but it's the first of the Americans next up here. And there he is. Another Salomon skater, Aaron Feinberg, 2-time X Games street medalist, a gold and then a bronze in the last 2 X Games. Both of those were in San Diego. We're in San Francisco in '99, and what a venue it's proving to be. Not a cloud in the sky so far during the competition. The only slight problem was during the sky surfing, but they solved that and got away with it. The weather can be a bit temperamental here in San Francisco, but it's been kind to the games so far. Aaron Feinberg, oh, unbelievable. Superb height. He's been pulling that trick for a couple of years, but it took me by surprise because it's always just sort of comes out of nowhere. Always on his backside and on the tarmac as well. It's made of a new material this year. It's called Skate Light. These obstacles have been adapted to provide better shock absorbency and therefore theoretically reduce injuries, although that's not helping Aaron Feinberg here. Following that crash, he's having a bit of a mare now. Good speed though. Oh, good height. Feinberg recovers well following the early mishap, but he's going relatively slow by his standards, and the 17-year-old from Portland, Oregon will not be taking the lead. That was a run chock full with cock-ups. This was no cock-up though. This was sensational. Worth another look. Huge grabbed backflip. Didn't he make that look pretty? Then things started to go belly up, and he never really got it back together. Let's have a look at the score. 68, he's in third. Will he hold the medal? It's the best score from the two that counts. No averaging here. It's all about the guy with the best, most points. He goes home with the prize money. Matt Salerno is away. Salerno goes faster than anybody. He also usually goes higher. One of the leading exponents of this sport across the USA and the world in the last couple of seasons. The best of the Australians, the most consistent of the Australians. Laid back, cool, likeable guy. Salerno, one of the veterans at 20. He's from Sydney. He's going over the rhythm section. The triple in the middle of the course, designed a bit like a dirt jump for the BMX riders. The inliners enjoy using it as well. It's a bit of a compromise, really, for the organisers here when they put up this street course, because it has to deal with the BMX riders, the inliners, and the skateboarders, so you can't please everybody all of the time. It's the moral with that story. Salerno enjoying his run so far. Lots of variation, lots of technical tricks. High standard in this year's X Games. There's the buzzer, Matt Salerno. Certainly not at his best, but he usually saves that until last, and he's got one more run to come. This was a blinding start, though. Look at that. Grabbing all the way around on the 540 spin. Good grinds, using the coping, using the high parts of the obstacles. Sole grind on the sub box there. That was fabulous. Salerno goes into third with 68.5. Chance to improve in the second run. The lead, however, is with Blake Dennis, with Nicky Adams poised in second, then Salerno. Here is some road rash.
X Games Sports with Walt Disney Pictures presents Tarzan.
Glad you're still there. I'm still here at the pier in San Francisco, California for the aggressive inline men's street final, to give it its full official title. Dennis leads from Adams. Salerno is third. Nicky Adams coming up for his second run now. The young Canadian who got off to a blinding start in the first run, taking things a bit easier here over the rhythm section. Good height already. Good grinds. Cramming so many lip tricks into this run, Nicky Adams already, and we're only, what, 10, 15 seconds in. Oh, yes, there's that 720. Kicking out his feet halfway through that as well. It's been a trademark, really, of Nicky Adams' season. He's from a disadvantaged family and states that his aims within the sport are to help them through and make a better life for all of them, and he's doing pretty well at that. Nicky Adams, just 15, living in Montreal now, in Canada. And not a big All-American party here today, with Adams leading of Canada, Blake Dennis and Matt Salerno in with chances there, both Australian. Adams was leading, of course, but Blake Dennis pipped him in the first run, but it can all change now. Oh, Nicky Adams is on his arse, but it's right on the buzzer. There you go. Fellow competitors enjoying that. And the crowd rising to the talents of 15-year-old Nicky Adams. Look at this 720 kicking out. Lucan on the rotation. That is how to entertain the crowd. Entertaining the crowd pleases the judges. And he just never stopped moving. Up on the chunk. He's the only one to have nailed that successfully. That was a royale grind on that big piece of concrete, and he's taken the lead with 76.5. That's the best of the day. Can he hold it? Aaron Feinberg had a disappointing 68. Remember, Aaron's run started well and then and he really just lost his rhythm. His run just disintegrated into a series of major errors, but he's trying to make up for it here. 76.5 is what he's chasing. Feinberg giving the Americans hope for a medal here. There's the flip. Nailed to perfection again. Backs it up with a big grab 360. Feinberg seems to have upped the tempo here. He's skating faster than he did in the first round. Good grind. Royale down the box there. Now he's up, just refueling, and then he's off again. Good speed, up he goes, right over, pops on top of the sub box, lands and doesn't lose any momentum at all. Feinberg has found his form, and he's got more to come. Going towards the rhythm section, no, he's bypassed that. Spinning on the landing, making it look like it was deliberate, but it might have been a mistake. Still, it'll score well. Feinberg on the buzzer, that was way better. That's more the Aaron Feinberg we've been used to seeing here on Eurosport. Now he's chasing 76.5. This will be close. This is the best maneuver of the day so far from anybody, apart from the first time Feinberg did it, of course. No one else does that. Now, the last time he came off of that, he landed on his head. Pops on the top of the sub box, down onto the ramp. 361, 360 in, 180 out. And Feinberg waits for the score. It's given him a place on the podium. In third at the moment, 75-75, but still Nicky Adams leads. There's Adams, the leader. There's Salerno, who's out of the medals at the moment, needs 76-75. Something approaching his very best to win here. 360 over the handrail. Oh, Salerno's come out with all guns blazing now in this second and final run in the street course final. He's spinning and twisting every step of the way. Matt Salerno from Sydney, Australia. The winner of the inaugural X Games inline street competition. That was in Rhode Island in 1995. And still he moves around the course as if he's just started his run. He's the reigning world champion in the street. Good vert skater as well. We'll see him later on, not in this program, but later on during our coverage of the X Games in the vert. There's the buzzer. He's got something more to come, as he Matt Salerno. He's climbing to a high point on the course. Is he going to drop in for a final flourish? No, he's called it a day. I don't think it's enough, though. I think the gold's gone to Nicky Adams. These were great spins from Matt Salerno. Incidentally, Nicky Adams, who leads this competition, recently won $10,000 in a best trick competition. The competition was closed. There were no more entry spaces left, so he actually bought an entry slot from one of the other competitors, and what a good investment that was, because he came out $10,000 better off at the end of it. Signalled his arrival in the sport. Matt Salerno has arrived and is established, but he won't be going home with the gold from these X Games as he did in 95. I think he's going to have to be content with fourth. Indeed he is. 70-75. It was an improvement, but not enough for Matt Salerno. So the gold goes to Nicky Adams from Montreal, Canada. What an X Games for him. Salerno happy for Adams. Adams absolutely ecstatic. Blake Dennis of Australia takes the silver. We saw him in the first run, but not in the second. Aaron Feinberg restored some pride to American inline with that bronze, but it's all about Nicky Adams. Remember that name. He's going to be big.
Watch athletes take off and reach new heights in big air. And skier
Nicky Adams has got what he came for. The medal and the money. think he's happy.
X Games gold.
So up on the podium goes Nicky Adams for his moment of glory. We'll go for a break in a minute, but first up, here's some music.